Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with some juice to get you through the long night. A few days ago, I did a video on Brandon Stark, or just Bran and his destiny, and in that video, I said I would get further in depth with the visions and what we actually saw. If you haven't seen that video, don't worry, I got you. I'll link it for you in the description box and up at the top. So Bran has this Weirwood vision in A Dance with Dragons. He sees a sequence of things while he's inside the heart tree at Winterfell. The first thing he sees is his father cleaning ice just after he beheaded the deserter of the Night's Watch. Then we go further back into time and he sees Ned just after Robert's rebellion praying for Jon and Robb to grow up as brothers with nothing but love between them. Then we go even further back and we see little kid Lyanna beating up little kid Benjen. Then we go back even further and we see a pregnant woman emerging from a black pool at Winterfell, praying for a son to avenge her. Then we go back some more and we see a slender girl is on her toes kissing a knight as tall as Hodor. Then we go back even further and a pale dark-eyed youth cuts off 3 branches from a weirwood and shapes them into arrows. Then we go back to the Kings of Winter. And then we see a bearded man forcing a captive down on his knees, a white-haired woman killing the captive with a bronze sickle. This seems to be some sacrifice to the others, but Bran tastes the blood while inside the tree, and that's interesting. So, do you know what we have just witnessed? Well, here's my opinion, and I would love your take on it as well, so let me know what you think in the comments. In my opinion, we have witnessed the why and the when the walkers left and the why and the when the walkers returned. Let me explain. So the first vision we see is the first time Ned had heard of the White Walkers. Well, not heard of them, but heard they were back. He had just came from removing the head of the deserter of the Night's Watch. And we know that he deserted or left his post because of the White Walkers. He was running from them. So in that instance, Ned is cleaning the sword he just used to kill the man that just told him the walkers are coming. The walkers are back. We are seeing and knowing, and Ned is knowing, even though he's in denial, that the walkers have returned. Now let's rewind all the way back to the last vision that we've seen. I'll get into the in-between visions in a couple minutes because those are important too. We see the tall, bearded men, the faces from the crypts. Bran remembers these faces, but he just can't put a name to them before the faces disappear. And then the bearded man forced the captive onto his knees, and the white-haired woman kills him with a bronze sickle. This woman is the Night Queen. The bearded man is the Night's King. I know in the books, the Night's King and the Night King are different, but I don't think that's the same for the show. I think for the show, they're going to be the same person. So we know that the Night's King is a Stark. They are making a sacrifice to the Great Other. And the Great Other is whatever lives inside the Weirwoods. And that is why Bran tastes the blood that was offered in front of the sacred tree. Now, before I move forward, I just want to delve into why I think this is the Night Queen. We learned that the Night King, or the 13th Lord Commander, is a Stark from Old Nan. He had been the 13th man to lead the Night's Watch, she said, a warrior who knew no fear. And that was his downfall. A woman he glimpsed from atop the wall, with skin as white as the moon, and eyes like blue stars, fearing nothing. He chased her and caught her and loved her, though her skin was cold as ice. And when he gave his seed to her, he gave his soul as well. He brought her back to the Night Fort and proclaimed her queen and himself her king. With strange sorceries he bound his sworn brothers to his will. For 13 years they had ruled, Night's King and his corpse queen, till finally the Stark of Winterfell and Jormund of the Wildlings had joined to free the Watch from bondage. After his fall, when it was found he had been sacrificing to the others, all records of the Night's King had been destroyed, his very name forbidden. Some say he was a Bolton. Old Nan would always end. Some say a Magner out of Skagos, some say a Umber, flint, or nori. Some would have you think he was a Woodfoot from them who ruled Bear Island before the Iron Men came. He never was. He was a Stark, the brother of the man who brought him down. She always printed Bran on the nose then. He would never forget it. He was a Stark of Winterfell, and who can say, mayhaps his name was Brandon. We also know that the Night Queen was pale-haired, and White Walkers don't look as creepy as they do on HBO. They look like Targaryens, to be honest. Pale skin, blue eyes instead of purple, and white hair. George R.R. Martin calls them elegant and beautiful. I mean, think about it. What man is going to chase after a woman that looks like those hideous chapped lip, rib cage showing, creepy, beastie looking things that we see on TV? So, moving forward. Then we see the Kings of Winter, the tall men in mail. So those men are the men who defeated the Night Queen and the Night King. So the story goes. So we don't hear anything else about the others or the Walkers. And now we fast forward to Aegon's conquest. So this is the beginning of dragons in Westeros, which means this is the beginning of the White Walkers returning or stirring or feeling threatened. So the vision we have next is Brandon Snow making 3 weirwood arrows from the tree, which you guys know I think were going to be used to kill dragons. 1 arrow for each dragon that Aegon, Visenya, and Rhaenys were on the back of when they conquered Westeros. So that was a missed opportunity to kill the dragons. And now the Walkers are coming. Not coming yet, but they're stirring because dragons are a threat. Fire is always going to be a threat to ice. So then we see this woman pregnant asking for a son to avenge her. And we see what I think is the same woman kissing a knight as tall as Hodor in the vision before that. So what I think could possibly be going on is this tall knight is Sir Duncan the Tall. And if you watch my last video, then you know why. But quickly, I'll just say the next novella to be released in the Tales of Dunk and Egg are the She-Wolves of Winterfell, and the plot takes place in Winterfell with the She-Wolves. I'm thinking this woman at some point or another gets pregnant by Sir Duncan the Tall, and he's in the Kingsguard, so he can't have any wife or kids. So he may have broken her heart. So she's pregnant now with his child, and she's praying for a son to avenge her, which her son is very well could have avenged her. And guess where he could have done that at? Summerhall, which was another missed opportunity to kill all the dragons. And when I say dragons, I mean Targaryens. A lot of Targaryens died in the tragedy of Summerhall. But Rhaegar lived, Aerys lived, and Rhaella lived, and the threat still lives. The Walkers are coming. Then we see Lyanna and Benjen. Lyanna, the mother of Jon Snow, the mother of the boy who is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen, the mother of the prince whom was promised. The threat still lives. The Walkers are coming. Then we see Ned Stark praying after basically bringing baby Azor Ahai back to Winterfell and raising him as a Stark. The threat still lives. The Walkers are coming. And this kind of makes me really think that he is the prince who was promised, because his presence is what makes them return, because he must be a threat to their existence, because the very next vision Bran has, they're back. Ned Stark is cleaning his sword because he just cut off the head of the deserter that's seen the Walkers. What do they want? Well, it seems they don't want dragons around. It seems they also don't want Targaryens around. And they damn sure don't want Azor Ahai bringing on a summer that never ends. They're made of ice. Dragons are like global warming to them. So they want Daenerys dead. They want Jon dead too. They want her dragons dead. They want to do basically the same thing Robert wanted to do.
I'll kill every Targaryen I get my hands on.
The way I see these visions, no Walkers were seen or heard of after the King of Winter and the King Beyond the Wall handled the Night Queen and the 13th Lord Commander. Whatever they did must have weakened them a great deal, but when Aegon's conquest happened, they started to stir. Fire was in Westeros. They weren't strong enough to do anything yet. But then the Dance of Dragons killed all the dragons, so you don't see any activity from them for a while. But then Summerhall happens, and they're stirring some more. They become nervous of Rhaegar, and nervous of Lyanna because they know Azor Ahai will be their child. But they're getting stronger. They won't risk their existence to dragons. That look between Jon and the Night's King at Hardhome was the "your dragon ass is out of here" look. Let me know what you guys think. Did any of this make sense? I'm curious to know how you interpreted the visions, and I'm also curious to know if you think if the White Walkers killed Jon and Dany and the dragons, would they leave people alone and stop building this undead army and go back to the lands of always winter? I wanted to thank you guys so much for all the love and support you've shown me. I appreciate it so much. Like this video if you like it. Please subscribe to be notified when I upload. Okay, my sweet summer children. Have a great day.